So hi, I'm Carl January. I'm doing the case conceptualization for CBT, and I would like to start out by talking about the ABCs and how affects affect cognitions that lead to behaviors, and this is interchangeable. So the person I chose was Eden. She was a 19-year-old European Caucasian female who was a student in the UK. Her predisposition is that she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when she was 17 years old. She expressed it changed her life at home and socially, and that now she sees the world completely different. In her earlier to late teens, she states that she kept things kind of bottled up and dealt with things the best way possible, really only sharing issues and thoughts when she was drunk enough or not sober, which we all know that is a cry for help, kind of, to an extent, because she's sharing with strangers that she doesn't know. Where she found comfort and temporary, um, she found temporary comfort with strangers because she didn't know them, and obviously she didn't care. She just needed to vent to somebody, and the drunker she got, the more she shared, as she explained. It definitely was an eye opener for her when she came to grips that she was depressed. After this shock, uh, she began getting high, not attending classes, and not leaving her bed for huge chunks of time, besides to eat and use the head, which is the restroom. Which, if you break that down and think about it, that is definitely like a depressive state. And the fact that she was diagnosed with bipolar, bipolar 1 is up and down, bipolar 2, you have the extreme fluctuations. So it's definitely significant, I believe. When she reflects on this, she states that she was lazy and unmotivated at the time. But when looking back, it actually turned out that she was having lows of bipolar. She later goes on to identify development of OCD, which happened to be a residual of bipolar, the high, or you know what is also known as mania. With fits of uncontrollable crying, isolation, delusions, which this is very interesting. As she was stating, there's various dimensions of delusions, especially like, the ones that she really hit to me were delusions of reference, grandeur, and uh, persecution, especially with the fact of her dad, where she explains this real in-depth situation where she was in the car with him after a friend had called to pick her up because of the situation that she was having, and she was explaining that she felt limitless and that, you know, all these things about saving the world, and was really talking really crazy to her friends. So they called her father, and her father picked her up, and she was in the car, and she states that she went to go grab the seatbelt and was going to jump out of the car. That definitely, is a delusion for sure, especially the fact that she thought her father was trying to kill her. And also, I would like to say that the fact that she had also mild hallucinations. Her first nervous breakdown led her to be committed to a psych ward because of her weird behavior, as I was stating. As she, as she put it, had schizophrenic traits. The way that she explained it was extremely heavy with content, and I think there's a bunch of things going on, but she's being treated for bipolar right now, which actually, as I was reading the DSM, comes out to be a lot of bipolar people are misdiagnosed with borderline personality disorders. They're given the medication for bipolar, but the medication doesn't work. And come to find out later on that they have borderline personality disorder, and they have been doing this for quite some time, which actually kind of fits her to an extent, but the fact that her mood ranges so fast or so slowly, kind of does it. I can understand why it's so hard to diagnose. Um, like I was back, what I was saying about her first nervous breakdown led her to be committed to the psych ward, and her father got involved because her friend. But since her release, she has lost a lot of her friends, which that's definitely significant at her age group, especially being in adolescence. Your friends are extreme. Your networking, your social network is extremely important to you, and not having that um, social structure definitely was devastating to her. But she says that she's definitely made some new friends, and she does have some of her old friends. And now, currently, as she's on medication, tranquilizers, as she indicated, um, that things are kind of tapering off. Um, what I suggest is to seek counseling, even if she feels that she has a good handle on things. To build a strong relationship with her family, especially her father, by telling them what's going on, so that she can help her, so that they can help her and support her if needed. Especially, we all know that the support structure is extremely important, especially when dealing with any kind of disorders or mental illness, or you know, when it comes to anything, any life tragedy, especially trauma. Trauma's network is definitely important. Um, so, like I was saying, to build a strong relationship with her family, especially her father, um, I want her. It would be good to see her to continue to see the positive and not bottle things up. I think that's extremely important for her, especially since she ranges from um, hypo to hyper and vice versa. Especially with bipolar 1 or 2, it didn't really necessarily state. And I watched 3 or 4 videos, and I like to focus on how to make this condition for her more manageable, and to emphasize the long-term effects of her affects, behaviors, and cognitions, and being more consciously aware of how the ABCs, by cognitive restructuring the way she identifies with situations while her mood is elevated or bottoming out. She seems very informed, but more psychoeducation never hurts, especially when experiencing these symptoms. She seemed very informed, and definitely was willing to share information in the video. Like I said, and this is just videos, and I've watched many other videos as during the transitional stage, and it kind of seems like she was lost in the mix. But as the videos progress to the one that I have placed here, she's gaining that clarity and coming to grips with things. The fact that she's on meds and moved in with her old friends that know her aids the process of intervention, especially since the friends reached out and got her family involved once before. Some preventions she could work on is self-monitoring by checking in with herself and conducting maintenance. Definitely like stress reduction and relaxation rehearsals for when her mood seems like worrisome, especially like when she's manic, where she was explaining that, she felt like she needed to save the world, and, like she was talking about male baldness, the guys who are going bald in the front, don't think with their brain, and, like the backside of the head. She was explaining the guys that have hair loss in the back are using more of their brain, and she explains that that made no sense to her now. But yet, during her transition, that was really hard for her to understand that, and that she thought that was reality. So that's some things that she needs to focus on, so that when those kind of situations happen, when she's having these feelings, and that, then they move to her thoughts, or vice versa. She's having thoughts and they activate cognitions, then she reacts, and that's the kind of behavior that she has. So in order to stop the behavior, like the antecedents, maintain antecedents, um, to focus on the affect or the cognition, the emotions or the thoughts. The fact that she comes to grips and takes responsibility really shows she is cognitively aware, so that when her emotions are out there, she knows to change her behaviors to bring it right back in. Everyone's future, I feel, is untold, and hers is very unclear. But she is open about what's going on, so that's definitely a positive. And I feel like she definitely has she's experienced a lot of growth, and even though she does experience more relapse, at least she's going to understand herself. Not that once you're diagnosed with bipolar, it just goes away, or you can manage it well. Um, it's definitely going to be a struggle for her, but with counseling and medication, definitely she can minimize exposures. Well, thank you.